Hello chess friends and welcome to Jozarov's chess channel and welcome to our best chess games of all time series. So in this series we're following the best chess games that have been ever played in chess history, and today I wanted to show really a cool game played by the legendary Viacheslav Ragozin against Noskov back from 1930 in the Moscow-Leningrad match. This was a match between two great clubs, and Vyacheslav Ragozin has, I think, a very important role in chess history because first of all he was the correspondence world champion in chess, and but the most important about the Ragozin is his positional understanding of the Queen's Gambit declined, in which he created this Ragozin defense, and still it's very often played in top grandmaster level. His great idea to play an improved Nimzo Indian setup, I think it is this Ragozin, because it allows you a very effective way how to play against the d4, and I've started now to study this Ragozin defense from Black's perspective, so that's why I wanted to see more of his games, and that's why I decided to show you this game. In this game, he played with the white pieces, so we'll not see this Ragozin defense, but I think in the near future we'll start the series, the Ragozin defense from Black's perspective, in order to have a good preparation against d4. But let's check out now this brilliancy by the legendary Ragozin himself. So e4 played by Ragozin. We have c5 by Noskov. We have knight to f3, and we have e6, the French variation of the Sicilian. The main idea is, of course, to break the center with the move d5, so it's a very nice setup here of Blacks. We have d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, and now knight to f6. Knight to d2 is a very nice idea here. Knight to c3 leads sometimes into complicated lines with bishop to b4. Still, it's protectable, of course, with bishop to d3 or queen to e2, but it's a more complex game here. Ragozin plays knight to d2. If bishop to b4 happens, then of course you have the move c3. So in the game d6, we have now chevening setup because Ragozin hasn't exposed his knight on c3, so d5 now would be very risky because we could play simply e5 after something like knight to d7, f4, maybe knight to c6, but now knight to f3. You see this reloading system of this knights allows you to create a very nice blocking system. After knight takes d4, knight takes maybe bishop to c5, but bishop to e3 followed with c3 will simply lock the queen side, and we could simply proceed with bishop to d3 ideas, maybe queen to g4, queen to h5, attacking possibilities here on the king side. So that's why after the move knight to d2, d6 was played, and now bishop to d3. We have knight to c6, and now knight to c6 played by Ragozin. This idea of white is a common idea in these setups because, okay, what Black has gained here is, of course, after b takes c6, these three powerful centralized squares, and still with possibilities to play the move d5. But again, if d5 happens, again we would have the possibility to play the move e5. So far, it's a battle, piece activity against pawn central control, because white has, of course, a very nice activity with these bishops, and you see now how Ragozin will activate these pieces. In the game, castling was played, bishop to e7, and now b3. Very nice move to develop the bishop. It doesn't make sense, I think, if you make something like knight to f3 and then develop your bishop here to g5. Here the idea of the move b3 is much more powerful. In the game, castling was played, and now bishop to b2. Here knight to d7 was played by Noskov, and this is a simplification idea. What Black is trying to do is to play bishop to f6 after bishop takes f6, to play simply queen to f6. Continuing then the game with the powerful center, it would be a favorable continuation, I think, here for Black if Black makes that plan happen. In the game, f4 was played, simply attacking the king side, and now comes the move bishop to f6. And here Ragozin shows, I think, his great attacking skills. He played the move here e5. After d takes e5, we have now a nice intermediate move, knight to e4. We want to grab the bishop. If the bishop retreats, then we can simply take the pawn. The pawn chain is splitted, so this is now a new position in which Black has a weakness. We could maybe try to occupy this weak d6 square, and maybe we could try some attacking possibilities. Rook to f3, rook to h3, queen to h5. So this bishop's activity allows you, I think, a perfect attack. So that's why here in the game, Black was basically forced to play the move e takes f4, but now Ragozin takes, of course, the bishop. we have knight takes f6. After knight takes f6, rook takes f4, and you see now how these bishops are aiming. The only defender, the only good piece that black has here is of course the knight, and we have to remove the knight and create this very nice bishop activity attack with support of the rook. Of course the rook is of course now active, and we can also include this queen into the attack. So after the move rook to e8, you can guess what Ragozin did now. He played a very nice exchange sacrifice. Rook takes f6. That had to hurt, I think. After g takes f6, you look at this bishop pair now. Queen to g4. The king has only one escape route. It's king to f8. If king to h8, it's very dangerous because you get simply queen to g5, and you cannot protect this pawn anymore. Bishop to f6 will follow, and it's game over. So in the game, king to f8 was played, but now bishop to a3. You see how these bishops are moving all over the board, attacking the king from both sides. You have only the move rook to e7, but it's not about taking the rook now. The rook is pinned. The position is stuck like this. Black doesn't have any good moves by pieces, so simply here bishop takes h7 with the preparation to play queen to g8, checkmate. In the game, queen to b6, not a problem. We can hide our king, king to h1, and now after king to e8, here Ragozin played a very nice move, rook to d1, and in this position Noskov resigned. So it wasn't maybe a special game, but I really like this game because it shows really the power of the bishop pair and how Ragozin made this attack happen. It was really, I think, an instructive game. Maybe it wasn't sort of the best chess game of all time, but as I said, I really like this game. I hope you don't mind. It was a perfect attack, and I think we can learn something from this attack. Sometimes you can apply this setup to maybe play this exchange sacrifice on f6, activate the bishop. You see how dangerous this position was, and it was a great game against this French Sicilian by his opponent. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed it a lot. As I said, we'll start maybe this Ragozin defense from black's perspective. I think it's one of the best openings that you can play against d4. If you want to see more games like this, you can also check out my best chess games of all time. Here's the link, and you can also watch my commented chess games played by computers with some Alpha Zero, Lila Zero, Stockfish games, and many more. And you can also subscribe to my channel if you like this content. Thank you for watching, guys, and chess is the best, of course.